September 23, 2025. Toledo, Ohio. 12:47 p.m. A Facebook notification lit up thousands of phones across the city. Friends, family members, former classmates all saw the same post appear in their feeds. The words were simple, almost peaceful, but anyone who read them carefully would feel their stomach drop. My favorite colors are pink and black. I want my sons in all pink. Real men wear pink, and they will be real men. I don't know where I am, but I know I was tired. I love everybody that loved me. I made it to 23 with 3 kids. If this touched Facebook, I'm gone. The sender? 23-year-old Zen Miela Sylvester, a young mother of 3, a certified nursing assistant, a daughter who called her mama every single day at noon, a woman whose smile could light up a room, but whose pain had been building in silence for years. By 3 p.m. that same afternoon, her mother would post 6 words that shattered a community. She wished to be buried in pink and black, and I'm going to make that happen. Zen. Nucky Sylvester was gone. This isn't just another tragic story about a young mother who couldn't take it anymore. This is about the lie we tell strong women that they can handle anything, carry everything, survive on nothing. This is about a society that celebrates maternal sacrifice until it kills the mother. This is about the invisible weight that crushes people in plain sight, while everyone around them says, "Wow, she's so strong." Zen's story is one that thousands of young mothers are living right now. Single parenthood, financial desperation, relationship betrayal, postpartum depression, sleep deprivation, social isolation. The relentless pressure to smile through the pain because everyone expects you to be okay. Before we go further, where are you watching this from right now? Drop your city or state in the comments. I want to know how far Zen's story is reaching, because stories like hers happen everywhere. Let's build awareness together. And here's the question that haunts everyone who knew her. How could someone who seemed so full of life feel so alone? How did a young woman who posted smiling photos with her 3 beautiful children reach a point where death felt like the only escape from exhaustion? If you care about mental health, about maternal wellness, about preventing tragedies like this, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. We cover cases that matter, stories that need to be heard, and we do it with the respect these families deserve. Don't just watch, be part of the solution. Subscribe now. The answers to those questions are buried in the years before that final post. They're hidden in the Facebook updates where she asked for help without actually saying the words. They're visible in the pattern of relationships that broke her heart over and over again. They're written in the exhaustion that she learned to wear like armor. Tonight, we're telling the complete story of Zen Nucky Sylvester. Not just how she died, but how she lived. Not just her final message, but the life that led to it. Not just her pain, but her love, her strength, and the 3 children she fought for until she couldn't fight anymore. This is a story about pink and black, about softness and strength, about a woman who gave everything she had until there was nothing left to give. Let's go back to where it all began. Before she was Nucky, before she was a mother of 3, before the exhaustion and the heartbreak, she was just Zen Miela Sylvester, a girl from Toledo, Ohio, with dreams bigger than her circumstances. Toledo. If you're not from the Midwest, you might not know much about this city on the shores of Lake Erie. It's a working-class town built on manufacturing glass, steel, auto parts. A city where factory jobs used to promise middle-class stability but have been disappearing for decades, leaving families to figure out how to survive in an economy that doesn't need them anymore. This is where Zen grew up, South Toledo, specifically. In neighborhoods where everyone knows everyone, where grandmothers watch children play on front porches, where corner stores are community gathering spots, and where economic struggle is just part of the landscape. It's not a bad place to grow up. There's love here. There's community here. But opportunity, that's harder to find. Zen attended Bossier High School, a place that's seen generations of Toledo kids walk through its doors. Some make it out and build stable lives. Others get caught in cycles of poverty, early parenthood, and limited options. The school does its best with limited resources, but it can't solve the structural problems that shape students' lives before they ever step into a classroom. Everyone who knew young Zen remembers her the same way. Magnetic. She had one of those personalities that filled a room. Warm, inviting, genuine. She could make you laugh until your stomach hurt. She could make you feel like the most important person in the world when she gave you her attention. Teachers loved her. Friends gravitated toward her. She had that spark, the kind. The kind that makes you think someone is destined for something special. Her nickname came from childhood Nucky. Nobody remembers exactly how it started. Maybe a younger cousin who couldn't pronounce Zen. Maybe a family joke that evolved into something permanent. But it fit her perfectly. Soft. Playful. The kind of nickname that comes from love. She had dreams, like all teenage girls do. She wanted to go to cosmetology school, maybe open her own salon someday. She was talented with hair and makeup, always experimenting with new styles, helping friends get ready for dances and parties. In her hands, beauty wasn't vanity, it was art. It was transformation. It was helping people feel good about themselves. She talked about financial stability, about creating a life where she wouldn't have to worry about making rent or choosing between groceries and utilities. She talked about family, about finding a partner who would stay, about raising children who would never have to experience the economic anxiety she grew up with. In another timeline, in a world with more opportunities and better support systems, Zen Sylvester might have pursued those dreams with single-minded focus. She might have graduated high school, enrolled in beauty school, built a successful career, and started a family when she was ready. December 2018. Zen was 16 years old. Most of her classmates were worried about final exams, holiday plans, and whether their crush would ask them to winter formal. Zen was in labor. At 16, her body was still finishing its own development. Her brain wouldn't be fully mature for another 9 years. She was legally a child herself, and now she was responsible for another human life. The statistics tell us that teen pregnancy rates in Toledo have consistently been higher than the Ohio state average. But statistics don't capture the individual experience. They don't show you the 16-year-old girl holding her newborn baby at 3 a.m., exhausted and terrified and in love all at once. They don't show you the father who promised forever but disappeared before the baby's first birthday. They don't show you the impossible mathematics of trying to finish high school while caring for an infant with no income and limited support. Zen became a mother at an age when most girls are still figuring out who they are. And she did it alone. The father, the young man who had helped create this life, who had made promises about partnership and shared responsibility, he left. Maybe he was scared. Maybe he was overwhelmed. Maybe he was just a kid himself who wasn't ready for the reality of parenthood. The reasons don't really matter. What matters is that Zen, at 16 years old, was suddenly a single mother. This is where the pattern began. The pattern that would define her entire adult life. Expectation versus reality. Promise versus abandonment. Hope versus crushing disappointment. But Zen didn't fall apart. She couldn't afford to. She had a baby who needed her. So at 16, she stepped into a role that most people aren't ready for at 26. She learned how to change diapers and mix formula and soothe a crying baby on 2 hours of sleep. She figured out how to pump breast milk in the school bathroom between classes. She found people willing to watch the baby while she finished her education. She worked odd jobs whenever she could: retail, cleaning houses, anything that would bring in a few dollars. Real quick, what time is it where you're at right now? Just curious, how many of you are watching this late at night? Maybe after putting your own kids to bed. Drop the time in the comments. The logistics of teenage motherhood are staggering. Who watches the baby during school? How do you afford diapers when you have no income? What happens when the baby is sick and you have an exam? These aren't hypothetical questions, they were Zen's daily reality. She borrowed rides from anyone with a car. She relied on her mother, her grandmother, neighbors who remembered their own struggles. She went without meals so there would be enough money for baby food. She wore the same clothes for days because there wasn't money for laundry. She did homework with a baby sleeping on her chest and an alarm set for the next feeding. And through it all, she smiled. People saw that smile and thought she was okay. They thought she was handling it. They called her strong. They called her inspiring. They said, "I don't know how you do it," with admiration in their voices. But that smile wasn't peace. It was armor. It was the mask she wore so people wouldn't see how badly she was struggling. So they wouldn't judge her. So they wouldn't take her baby away. So her child wouldn't grow up knowing how hard things really were. The thing about armor is that it gets heavier the longer you wear it. Every smile that masked exhaustion, every "I'm fine" that covered desperation, every appearance of strength when she was actually breaking, they all added weight. And Zen would wear that armor for 7 more years, until it finally crushed her. May 2024. Zen gave birth to her second child. She was 22 years old, still young, still hoping that this time would be different. That this relationship would last. That this father would stay. June 2025. Her third baby arrived. 3 children in 7 years. 3 different fathers. 3 sets of promises that crumbled under the weight of reality. It's easy to judge from the outside. Easy to ask, why did she keep having children with men who wouldn't stay? Easy to see the pattern and wonder why she didn't learn from past experiences. But that judgment misses the deeper truth. Zen wasn't chasing chaos. She was chasing stability. She was chasing the family structure she'd dreamed about as a girl. She was chasing partnership, security, love that would last. Each pregnancy represented hope. Each new relationship was going to be the one that worked. Each baby was conceived in a moment when she believed in forever. And each time, that hope was shattered in ways that compounded the existing pain and made it harder to believe in anything. To the outside world, Zen made it look easy. Her social media presence told a carefully curated story of young motherhood that was challenging but manageable, exhausting but rewarding. She posted cute pictures of her 3 children matching outfits, coordinated color schemes, big smiles. She shared funny videos of toddler antics and baby giggles. She documented milestones, first steps, first words, birthday parties with homemade cakes and balloons. Her Instagram feed painted a portrait of a young mom who was thriving despite the odds. Pretty kids, happy moments, a life filled with love. But social media is a highlight reel. It shows the 5 minutes of smiles, not the 5 hours of tears that came before it. It shows the clean living room, not the chaos in every other room of the house. It shows the put-together outfit, not the fact that it's been worn 3 days in a row because there's no time or energy for laundry. Behind those posts were nights where Zen cried quietly in the dark, rocking a baby back to sleep while another child called from the other room. There were mornings when she wanted nothing more than to stay in bed, to surrender to the exhaustion. But she couldn't because 3 little humans depended on her for everything. There were moments of such profound loneliness that she felt like she was screaming, and no one could hear her. Let's talk about the brutal mathematics of single motherhood in America, because this is where Zen's story becomes every struggling mother's story. Childcare in Ohio averages around $200 per week per child. For 3 children, that's $600 per week, or $2,400 per month. That's more than most people pay in rent. It's more than Zen made in a month working as a certified nursing assistant. The median wage for CNAs in Ohio is about $15 per hour. Working full-time, that's roughly $2,400 per month before taxes. After taxes, maybe $2,000. So even working full-time, Zen's entire paycheck would have been consumed by childcare alone, leaving nothing for rent, utilities, food, clothing, transportation, or medical expenses. This is the impossible equation that millions of single mothers face. You need to work to support your children, but you can't afford the childcare that would allow you to work. You need childcare to work, but you need to work to afford childcare. It's a catch-22 with no solution. So Zen did what many single mothers do. She cobbled together a survival plan that barely held together. She worked as a CNA, providing care for others even when she herself was depleted. She picked up retail shifts when she could get them, squeezing in hours between childcare responsibilities. She relied on family members to watch the kids when possible. But that meant being constantly indebted, constantly asking for help, constantly feeling like a burden. She applied for government assistance WIC for the babies, SNAP for food, Medicaid for health care. These programs kept her family afloat, but they came with their own stress. Paperwork that never ended, requirements that were difficult to meet, benefits that could be cut off with little warning, and the stigma that comes with needing help in a society that treats poverty as a moral failure. If this story is hitting home, if you know someone going through something similar, or if you believe we need better support systems for single mothers, show it by liking this video right now. The algorithm rewards engagement, which means more people see stories like Zen's, which means more awareness, which could literally save lives. Hit that like button. It takes half a second and it matters. The constant state of financial crisis creates a specific kind of psychological damage. You can never relax. You can never feel secure. Every unexpected expense, a car repair, a sick child needing medicine, a missed day of work becomes a potential catastrophe. You're always doing mental calculations. If I pay the electric bill, I can't buy groceries. If I buy groceries, I can't pay the phone bill. If I pay the phone bill, I can't afford the copay for the baby's doctor appointment. This is the exhaustion that sleep can't fix. This is the weight that Zen carried every single day. And it was only getting heavier. Adding to everything else, Zen had given birth to her youngest child just 3 months before her death. Her body was still recovering from pregnancy and childbirth. Her hormones were still regulating. She was likely sleep-deprived from night feedings, dealing with the physical discomfort of postpartum recovery, and navigating the emotional turbulence that often comes after birth. Postpartum depression affects approximately 1 in 7 women, but the rates are significantly higher for mothers facing economic hardship, relationship stress, and lack of social support. All of these risk factors were present in Zen's life. The symptoms of postpartum depression can include extreme fatigue, difficulty bonding with the baby, withdrawal from family and friends, loss of appetite or eating much more than usual, inability to sleep or sleeping too much, overwhelming feelings of sadness or hopelessness, severe mood swings, difficulty thinking clearly or making decisions, and thoughts of harming yourself or your baby. But here's the insidious part. Many of these symptoms overlap with the normal experiences of new motherhood, especially for mothers who are doing it alone. Of course you're exhausted to have a newborn. Of course you're having mood swings or hormones are crazy. Of course you're having trouble thinking clearly, you haven't slept in 3 months. The normalization of maternal suffering means that warning signs get dismissed. You're just tired. All new moms feel this way. It'll get better. And so mothers keep pushing through, keep believing they should be able to handle it, keep waiting for it to get better, until it doesn't. For Zen, the postpartum period after her 3rd child coincided with the complete breakdown of her relationship with the baby's father. So she was dealing with physical recovery, hormonal chaos, sleep deprivation, the demands of 3 children, financial crisis, and heartbreak, all at the same time. That's not just a perfect storm. That's a Category 5 hurricane hitting someone who's already drowning. And through all of it, she kept smiling. She kept posting happy pictures. She kept showing up for her kids. She kept going to work. She kept calling her mama at noon every day. Because that's what strong women do, right? They handle it. They survive. They keep going until they can't. Let's talk about the relationship that broke Zen's heart over and over again until there was nothing left to break. The father of her children, the man who should have been her partner in the overwhelming task of raising 3 human beings, was often absent. When he was physically present, he frequently wasn't emotionally available, not in the way that mattered, not in the way that would have made a difference. Infidelity became a recurring theme. Betrayal wasn't an isolated incident, but a pattern that repeated with devastating regularity. Each time Zen discovered another lie, another betrayal, another woman, it carved away a piece of her ability to trust, to hope, to believe in love. Here's what the cycle looked like for Zen, and for millions of women trapped in similar patterns. she would discover infidelity or some other major betrayal. The pain would be acute, overwhelming. She would confront him. There would be tears, anger, threatened endings. He would apologize, promise to change, swear it would never happen again. He would be attentive for a while, present in ways he hadn't been before. She would want to believe him not because she was naive, but because she loved him, and because the alternative, raising 3 children completely alone, felt impossible. So she would forgive him. They would reconcile. Things would be okay for a while, maybe weeks, maybe months. She would start to relax, to believe that this time the change was real, that he had finally understood what she needed. Gradually or suddenly, he would slip back into old patterns. The absence, the emotional distance, the betrayal. And Zen would find herself back at phase 1, except now with even less emotional reserve to deal with it. This cycle repeated throughout their relationship. Each time around, it took more from her. Each betrayal required more forgiveness than she had to give. Each reconciliation required believing in a future that kept disappointing her. Each temporary peace felt more fragile than the last. People who haven't experienced this cycle ask, why didn't she just leave? As if leaving were simple, as if it were just a matter of deciding to go and walking out the door. But leaving is complicated, especially for mothers. Here's why Zen stayed as long as she did. She genuinely believed it would be better for her kids to have their father around, even if he wasn't showing up the way he should. Society had told her repeatedly that children need both parents, that single-parent homes are inherently disadvantaged. She didn't want her children to bear the stigma and struggle of having an absent father. Leaving would mean losing whatever financial contribution he provided, however inconsistent. It would mean shouldering 100% of the expenses instead of 85%. When you're already drowning financially, even a small increase in burden can feel impossible. Years of this cycle creates something called trauma bonding, a psychological attachment that forms in relationships characterized by intermittent reinforcement of reward and punishment. The good moments become more intense because they're rare. The hope that this time will be different becomes addictive. The investment of time and emotion makes leaving feel like admitting failure. Despite everything, Zen loved him. Love doesn't disappear just because someone hurts you. If anything, it makes the hurt worse because you keep remembering who they were in the good moments. Keep believing that person is still in there somewhere. What's the weather like where you are today? I know this is a heavy story, so I'm just curious about the world outside your window right now. Drop it in the comments soon. Rainy? Snowing? What makes Zen's story particularly heartbreaking is that she understood exactly what was happening to her. She wasn't blind to the dynamics. She wasn't unaware of the patterns. She articulated her experience with stunning clarity in several Facebook posts. In one post from early 2025, she wrote, "Asterisk. Before I got pregnant, I used to always wonder why families didn't work out after a baby. I've finally realized that a lot of men aren't able to understand how much a woman goes through mentally, physically, and emotionally. We face so many challenges within ourselves, yet we're still expected to be the same person during and after birth. It takes a lot of communication and reassurance for sure." Asterisk, read that again. This is someone actively trying to understand her own experience. She's not blaming anyone, she's making an observation about a fundamental disconnect she'd experienced repeatedly. The gap between what she needed, communication, reassurance, understanding of how much she'd changed, and what she received. In another devastating post, she wrote, Asterisk, "I'm tired of acting like I'm okay when I'm not. I'm not okay at all. My heart is broken, and I'm mad because I don't do anything to hurt anybody. I give my last. I put everyone before myself, yet I always end up with the short end of the stick. My love is pure, and if I say I love you, I mean it. It's nothing I won't do for you. I've been in this position too many times. This stuff bothering me. I'm lost, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I keep asking God, but I'm getting no answers. I'm so angry, man, and I can't even hide it anymore. I'm not the person I used to be. I just want the old me back, the happy me." Asterisk, notice the self-blame woven through the pain. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Even in her anger and hurt, she's turning the question inward. What am I doing wrong? Not, what is being done to me? This is the psychological toll of chronic mistreatment. It makes you question your own worth, your own judgment, your own reality. When someone hurts you repeatedly and then convinces you to stay, you start to believe that maybe you deserve the hurt. Maybe if you were better, different, more enough, they wouldn't treat you this way. The reference to God is significant too. For many people, particularly in communities like Toledo, where faith plays a central role, relationship struggles become spiritual struggles. When prayers seem to go unanswered, it creates a crisis of faith on top of the existing pain. Zen was asking God for answers and hearing only silence. That silence, that sense of abandonment from the one source that was supposed to be constant, only deepened her isolation. The closing line, "I just want the old me back, the happy me," shows that Zen knew she'd lost something essential about herself. The weight of betrayal and disappointment had transformed her into someone she didn't recognize. The girl who used to light up rooms had become a woman who couldn't hide her anger anymore. In August 2025, just 1 month before her death, something shifted. Zen's silence broke in a way that got everyone's attention. She posted, "Asterisk. I'm not the baby mama. I am the custodial parent. I am the primary parent. I'm the mother. The one who doesn't get to pick and choose when to show up. I'm the big dog, if you may, on any day." Asterisk, this wasn't just venting. This was a declaration of war, a refusal to accept the diminished role that the term baby mama implied. She was demanding recognition for what she actually was. The parent who showed up every single day, who made every decision, who bore every responsibility. She was insisting on being seen. The term baby mama carries so much cultural baggage. It's often used dismissively, as if having children outside of marriage makes you somehow less important, less valid, less deserving of respect. It reduces a woman to her biological function rather than acknowledging her role as a full-time parent. Zen was rejecting that reduction. In another post from that same period, she wrote, asterisk, "No woman just wakes up and decides to be distant, cold, guarded, or toxic. That attitude you see, that tone in her voice, that wall she built, it came from somewhere, from betrayal, from being lied, disrespected, and let down too many times. Women are naturally loving and soft. But if you keep hurting someone who only wanted to love you, don't be surprised when that love becomes protected." Asterisk, this post reveals sophisticated self-awareness. Zen understood that her emotional withdrawal wasn't random or inherent to her personality. It was a protective response to repeated harm. She was explaining herself to the world, trying to make people understand that she hadn't become cold by choice. She'd been forced into self-protection. But here's what everyone missed. These posts weren't just declarations of strength. They were cries for help wrapped in armor. They were ways of saying, "I'm drowning," while still appearing to have it together. They were the emotional equivalent of someone waving from a sinking ship while insisting they're fine. After these posts in August, Zen went quiet. Her usual pattern of daily updates, sharing funny moments with the kids, asking for advice, documenting their activities, simply stopped. To some people scrolling past her name in their feeds, it looked like peace. Maybe she was taking a social media break. Maybe she was busy with the kids. Maybe she'd found some balance. But to those who really knew her, silence was a warning sign. Because Zen's social media presence wasn't just about getting likes, it was her connection to the outside world. Her way of reaching out, her proof that she existed beyond the walls of her apartment. When that stopped, something was deeply wrong. Because silence isn't always calm. Sometimes it's the sound of someone giving up. We don't know exactly what Zen's final days looked like. We don't know the specific thoughts that went through her mind or the precise moment when she decided she couldn't continue. What we do know is that by late September 2025, a woman who had been running on fumes for years finally ran out of fuel. Mental health professionals talk about something called terminal calmness, or the calm before the storm, a phenomenon where someone who has been deeply depressed suddenly seems at peace. To friends and family, it appears that the person is finally getting better. They seem more relaxed, less agitated, sometimes even happy. In reality, they've made a decision, and that decision has brought them relief from the endless deliberation. They know what they're going to do, and knowing that the pain will end brings a temporary sense of calm. They've stopped fighting, which paradoxically makes them seem better to the people around them. We don't know if Zen experienced this in her final days. We don't know if her silence was peaceful or agonizing, but we know she'd been running on empty for months. Her body was exhausted from working multiple jobs and caring for 3 young children, including a 3-month-old infant. Her heart was exhausted from repeated betrayal and disappointment. Her spirit was exhausted from trying to be strong when she felt so broken. Everything about Zen's situation was a risk factor for suicide. *** recent childbirth. *** The postpartum period carries increased risk for mental health, crises. ** Sleep deprivation. ** Chronic sleep loss impairs judgment and emotional regulation. ** Financial stress. ** The constant pressure of economic insecurity. ** Relationship trauma. ** Relationship trauma. ** Social isolation. ** Lack of adequate support systems. Access to mental health care. ** No resources to address the depression and trauma. ** History. Adversity. ** Years of accumulated stress and struggle. Each of these factors alone increases suicide risk. Combined, they create a perfect storm. And for young mothers, there's an additional factor that people don't talk about enough: the belief that their children would be better off without them. This isn't rational, it's a lie that depression tells. But in the depths of despair, exhausted mothers can convince themselves that they're a burden, that they're failing their children, that their kids deserve a better mother. They can't see that what their children actually need is the mother they have, not a perfect mother, just their mother, alive and present. Then came September 23, 2025, a Monday. The kind of ordinary day that becomes extraordinary only in retrospect. At some point that morning, or early afternoon, Zen composed what would be her final message. She opened Facebook, the platform where she'd shared so many moments of her life, both the curated highlights and the raw struggles. She typed carefully, choosing words that would explain without explaining, that would say goodbye without trauma, that would leave instructions for how she wanted to be remembered. My favorite colors are pink and black. I want my sons in all pink. Real men wear pink, and they will be real men. I don't know where I am, but I know I was tired. I love everybody that loved me. I made it to 23 with 3 kids. If this touched Facebook, I'm gone. *** Let's break this down, because every sentence carries weight. *** My favorite colors are pink and black. *** She's starting with an assertion of identity. These are my colors. This is who I am. Pink soft, feminine, warm. Black strong, powerful, protective. Together, they represent the duality of her existence, the softness she wanted to embody and the strength she was forced to develop. *** Want my sons in all pink. *** She's making plans for her funeral, giving instructions for how she wants to be remembered. But she's also making a statement about masculinity, about the kind of men she hopes her sons will become. *** Real men wear pink, and they will be real men. *** This is parenting from beyond the grave. She's telling her sons that masculinity can include softness, color, emotional expression. She's trying to shape their futures even as she's leaving it. She's telling them that strength doesn't require hardness, that being a real man means being comfortable with all aspects of yourself. ***, Don't know where I am, but I know I was tired. ***, This is heartbreaking. The disorientation "I don't know where I am" suggests she'd lost her sense of self, her sense of place in the world. But the certainty about exhaustion shows what was most real to her. The bone-deep weariness that had become her constant companion. ***, You love everybody that loved me. ***, Notice she doesn't say, I love everybody or I love you all. She specifically says she loves those who loved her. It's both grateful and somewhat defensive, a way of acknowledging the people who showed up while implicitly excluding those who didn't. ***, made it to 23 with 3 kids. ***, there's something almost triumphant in this statement, even in a farewell message. She's claiming her achievement, acknowledging that she accomplished something difficult. She raised 3 children. She made it to 23, an age many people in her circumstances don't reach. It's a statement of pride mixed with exhaustion. ***, if this touched Facebook, I'm gone. ***, this is perhaps the most haunting part. It's a conditional statement. If you're reading this, it means I've already done it. The use of social media as a distribution method for her final words is very much of this generation. She knew the message would reach more people this way than any note left at home ever could. Listen, I know this is hard to hear, but it's important. If you think someone you know might be going through something similar, share this video with them. Not in a preachy way, just share it. Sometimes people need to see their own story reflected back at them to realize they're not alone. The share button is right there. Use it. It might save a life. The post went live at 12:47 p.m. To most people scrolling past, it looked like just another status update, maybe a bit cryptic, but not alarming. Some people left confused comments asking if she was okay. Others didn't see it until later, until it was too late. By 3 p.m. that afternoon, Zen Nucky Sylvester was gone, and her mother was left to make a promise she never imagined having to make. She wished to be buried in pink and black, and I'm going to make that happen. The news didn't come from police scanners or local news stations. It didn't come from official reports or press releases. It came the way most news travels in 2025, through social media, through the voices of people who loved her. Her mother's post at 3 p.m. confirmed what many had feared when they read Zen's final message. ***, she wished to be buried in pink and black, and I'm going to make that happen. ***, 6 simple words that shattered a community. No explanation needed, no details provided, just a mother's promise to honor her daughter's final wish. Within minutes, the post was shared across Toledo. Friends tagged each other. Classmates changed their profile pictures to photos of Zen. Condolence messages began flooding timelines. The comments section filled with disbelief, grief, anger, and love. No, not Nucky. Please God, not her. I just saw her last week. She was smiling. How did I not see? This can't be real. Tell me this isn't real. Rest in peace, beautiful. You didn't deserve any of this. By evening, the Dale Riggs Funeral Home had listed her name on their website. ***, Zen Miela Sylvester, ***, born April 24, 2002, ***, age 23 ***, a number that would be repeated in every conversation, every post, every memorial. Too young. Way too young. That same evening, family friend Akeisha Jordan launched a GoFundMe campaign. The description was simple and direct. ***, we are raising funds to help lay Zen Nucky Sylvester to rest and to support her 3 beautiful children. Zen was a devoted mother who loved her babies with everything she had. Any donation, no matter how small, will help her family during this impossible time. Please keep her children and her family in your prayers. ***, the goal was modest, just enough for a basic funeral and immediate needs for the children. Toledo isn't a wealthy city. Most people don't have thousands of dollars saved for emergencies, much less for funerals. But they gave what they could. $5, $10, $20. Every donation came with a message. Rest easy, Nucky. You mattered. Praying for your babies. In the days that followed, Zen's mother shared a letter that would break hearts across the internet. ***, Dear Zen, I am writing to express my heartfelt love and longing for you. Your absence has left an unfillable void in my life, and I am deeply saddened by the thought of what could have been. I wish I could have been there for you and done more to help you through the difficult times. The memories of our time together are forever etched in my heart and soul, and I am reminded of the moments we shared and often took for granted. I wish I could turn back the clock and have you back. starting anew with the hope that you would have felt comfortable sharing your true feelings with me. I am grateful for the 3 beautiful grandbabies you left behind, and I promise to care for them with unwavering devotion. I hope you are now at peace, free from pain and suffering. Please know that I never judged you and was always there to support you to the best of my abilities. Everyone has a breaking point, and I hope you are now resting easy. I look forward to the possibility of your presence and guidance from time to time. Your beautiful smile and presence will always be remembered, and I will continue to celebrate your beautiful soul and good heart. Mama loves you and will always be here for you. Asterisk, there's no manual for how to grieve your own child. That day, her mother showed the world what that pain sounds like. Raw, unfiltered, drowning in guilt and love in equal measure. The guilt woven through that message is universal among parents who lose children. I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have done more. I wish I could turn back the clock. The endless what-ifs that will haunt her for the rest of her life. But there's also fierce love, the promise to care for the grandchildren with unwavering devotion. The acknowledgement that everyone has a breaking point, a refusal to judge, even in the depths of grief. The determination to celebrate who Zen was rather than just how she died. Her father posted something shorter but equally devastating. Asterisk, all my kids hate that I'm always taking pictures of them, but not her. She always understood the assignment. Hashtag Hasto Forever 23. Asterisk in that simple statement is a father's love and a father's regret. Zen understood that the pictures mattered, that someday those frozen moments would be all they had left, and now they are. By the next evening, Toledo was painted in pink and black. The vigil held in Zen's honor drew hundreds of people. They came from her old high school, from her neighborhood, from the hospitals and nursing homes where she'd worked. They came from corners of the city she'd probably never visited, brought together by a story that reflected their own struggles, their own exhaustion, their own silent battles. The park where they gathered filled with pink and black balloons. Each one carried a handwritten note. You were loved. You mattered. Your babies will know you. Fly high, Nucky. Real men wear pink. Friends wore pink hoodies and black ribbons. Mothers came holding their babies, wiping tears as someone sang gospel hymns. A group of CNAs showed up in their pink scrubs, colleagues from the nursing homes where Zen had cared for the elderly, where she'd shown up for work even on days when she could barely function herself. Her oldest son, just 6 years old, stood in his grandmother's arms, too young to fully understand why everyone was crying, too small to carry the weight that would one day be explained to him. That image, a child at his mother's vigil, wearing pink because she'd asked him to, broke everyone who saw it. One friend stood at the microphone, voice breaking. Seeing my sister like this, man, I'm not okay. This is not what I wanted. Please, man. I'm so hurt, man. For real, like, why, baby? Why, Nucky? Asterisk, there were no answers. Just the same question echoing across the crowd. Why? How did we not see? What could we have done? Then came the second wave, the viral spread of her story beyond Toledo. Screenshots of her last message circulated on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Her smiling selfies appeared on true crime pages. Clips from old live videos were shared with captions like, "R.I.P. to this young queen," and "This is what depression looks like. She was smiling the whole time." Some of this attention came from good places. Mental health advocates shared her story to raise awareness about postpartum depression and the struggles of single mothers. Other mothers saw themselves in Zen's experience and shared their own stories of barely holding on. But some of it was exploitative. Strangers who'd never known Zen treated her death as content, as something that would get clicks and engagement. Her face appeared on YouTube thumbnails with dramatic text overlays. Podcasts discussed her case as the pink and black suicide note story. Facebook groups dissected her final post, analyzing every word like it was a mystery to be solved rather than a tragedy to be mourned. This is the dark side of grief in the social media. Age-board AI. Family's tragedy becomes public property. What begins as remembrance can easily turn into spectacle. It's why stories like Zen's must be told with care, not curiosity. Because behind every photo is a person. Behind every post, a heartbeat. Behind every statistic is someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's friend. Zen's family didn't ask for their pain to go viral. They didn't want their daughter's death to become a trending topic. They just wanted to honor her, bury her in pink and black like she asked, and figure out how to raise 3 children who've lost their mother. But the internet has its own appetite, and once grief becomes content, it's hard to take back. Zen's death wasn't just about one woman's pain. It became a mirror for thousands of young mothers who saw themselves in her struggles. The invisible load they carry, every day. The sleepless nights that stretch into months and years. The rent that's always due. The relationships that crack under the pressure. The constant mental calculation of how to make everything work on too little money and even less support. It's a weight that doesn't make headlines until it's too late. Let's break down the specific pressures that converged on Zen, because understanding them helps us understand how to prevent the next tragedy. Economic pressure. The cost of raising children has skyrocketed while wages have remained stagnant. In Ohio, raising a child to age 18 costs approximately $250,000. That's for middle-class families with stable incomes. For single mothers working minimum wage or near minimum wage jobs, the mathematics simply don't work. Childcare alone can consume an entire paycheck. Many single mothers work multiple jobs just to keep the lights on, which means less time with their children, which creates guilt, which adds to the psychological burden. It's a vicious cycle with no easy exit. Sleep deprivation. This is perhaps the most underestimated factor in maternal mental health. Chronic sleep deprivation has documented effects on judgment, decision-making, emotional regulation, and physical health. Studies show that new mothers lose an average of 700 hours of sleep in the first year of a child's life. Multiply that by 3 children, and you're looking at years of cognitive impairment that compounds everything else. Sleep deprivation makes depression worse. It makes anxiety worse. It makes every challenge feel insurmountable. And yet we treat maternal exhaustion as normal, even funny. Tired mom jokes and coffee memes that normalize suffering instead of addressing it. Postpartum physiological changes. Pregnancy and childbirth create significant changes that can take years to fully resolve. Hormonal shifts, physical recovery, changes to brain chemistry, all of these affect mental health. Postpartum depression can occur up to a year after birth, and research shows that subsequent pregnancies can trigger or worsen depression from previous births. Zen had 3 children in 7 years, meaning her body and brain never fully recovered between pregnancies. She was operating in a state of chronic physiological stress. Social isolation. Young mothers, especially single mothers, often become profoundly isolated from their peer groups. Friends without children don't understand the constraints of their lives. Plans have to be made around nap schedules and babysitter availability. The spontaneity of young adulthood disappears. Many young mothers report feeling like they're living in a different world from their childless friends, unable to participate in the social activities that once sustained them. For Zen, working multiple jobs and caring for 3 children left essentially no time for maintaining friendships or building new support networks. Relationship trauma. Repeated betrayal and abandonment create lasting psychological damage that affects everything. Trust becomes difficult. Hope becomes dangerous. The very thing humans need most, secure attachment to others, becomes the thing that causes the most pain. For Zen, love had become another source of trauma rather than a source of healing. Every new relationship carried the weight of all previous disappointments. Every promise was heard through the filter of broken promises that came before. Lack of access to mental health care. Even when someone recognizes they need help, accessing that help is another challenge entirely. Mental health care is expensive and often not covered by insurance. Wait lists for affordable services can be months long. Finding childcare so you can attend therapy appointments is its own obstacle. Transportation to appointments requires a car or reliable public transit that many people don't have. Taking time off work means losing income you can't afford to lose. Many mothers simply cannot overcome these logistical and financial barriers, even when they desperately want help. There are quiet dangers in the kind of strength we celebrate in women, particularly in mothers. We praise women for handling it all, for being resilient, for never breaking down, for keeping everything together against impossible odds. But that praise becomes a trap. It makes women feel like asking for help is weakness. It makes them feel like they have to keep going no matter what, that stopping means failure. It creates a culture where admitting you're struggling feels like admitting you're not good enough. Zen was called strong her entire adult life. People marveled at how she managed to raise 3 children alone, work multiple jobs, and still smile for the camera. But what they were calling strength was actually survival mode. It was the constant activation of stress responses that were never meant to run continuously. It was the psychological equivalent of redlining an engine. Sure, it keeps going, but it's destroying itself in the process. When we tell struggling mothers they're strong, what they often hear is, "You can handle this, so I don't need to help." The compliment becomes permission to not intervene, to not offer support, to not acknowledge that someone is drowning. What if instead of calling mothers strong, we asked if they need help? What if instead of marveling at how much they can endure, we work to lighten their load? Zen's death wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a systemic failure. Every institution that should have supported her didn't provide adequate help. Healthcare system. Postpartum depression screening is recommended for all new mothers. But many women never receive it, particularly those without regular access to healthcare. Even when depression is identified, treatment often isn't accessible due to cost and availability of providers. Economic system. Minimum wage hasn't kept pace with the cost of living. The lack of universal childcare means working parents spend enormous portions of income on care. There's no paid family leave at the federal level, forcing mothers back to work before they've physically or mentally recovered from childbirth. Social safety net. While programs like WIC, SNAP, and Medicaid provide crucial support, they're often difficult to access and maintain. The application processes are complex, requirements change, and benefits can be cut off with little notice, creating constant instability for families already on the edge. Mental health system. There's a critical shortage of mental health providers, particularly those who accept Medicaid or offer sliding scale fees. Wait times can be months long. The stigma around mental health, particularly in certain communities, prevents people from seeking help even when it's available. Social structure. The breakdown of extended family networks and community support systems means many mothers are raising children without the village that humans evolved to rely on. Geographic mobility, economic pressure, and social fragmentation have left many families isolated and alone. All of these failures converged on Zen, and she fought against them for 7 years, until she couldn't anymore. Real talk, do you personally know a single mother who's struggling right now? You don't have to say who, just drop a heart in the comments if you do. Let's see how many of us are connected to someone who might need support. If there's one message this story should carry, it's this. We have to start checking on the people who seem fine. The ones posting smiles while living on fumes. The ones who never complain. The ones holding everything together. The ones everyone calls strong. These are often the people suffering most, because they've learned to hide it so well that no one thinks to look deeper. As one mental health advocate wrote after Zen's death, don't just say she's strong, ask if she's okay, and if she says she's fine, ask again. Because sometimes that second question saves a life. The first time you ask someone how they're doing, you're likely to get a reflexive response. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm managing. These are the socially acceptable answers that keep conversations moving and maintain the appearance that everything is okay. But the second question pushes past that automatic response. It says, I see you. I'm actually paying attention. I'm not going to accept the easy answer because I genuinely want to know how you are. The second question can be as simple as, no. But really, how are you doing? When's the last time you got a full night's sleep? Do you have what you need right now? Is there anything I can do to help make your day easier? These questions are specific enough that they can't be brushed off with a generic fine. They show that you're willing to have a real conversation, even if it's uncomfortable. Here's the crucial part that most people miss. Asking if someone is okay is meaningless if you're not prepared to actually help when they say no. Too often, "How are you?" is just a greeting rather than a genuine question. We say it reflexively without really wanting to know the answer. And people learn quickly that giving an honest answer actually, "I'm drowning," makes others uncomfortable and usually doesn't result in actual support. So if you're going to ask the second question, be ready to follow through with concrete help. Don't say, "Let me know if you need anything." Do say, "I'm bringing dinner on Tuesday. What time works for you?" Don't say, "Call me if you need help with the kids." Do say, "I'm coming over Saturday at 10 a.m. to watch the kids so you can rest. I'll see you then." Don't say, "You should really talk to someone." Do say, "I found 3 therapists in the area who take your insurance. Want me to help you make appointments?" Make your help specific, immediate, and non-conditional. Don't require them to ask for it or coordinate it. Just show up and do it. While it's impossible to predict every suicide, there are warning signs that deserve attention. Sudden withdrawal from social activities and relationships, changes in social media patterns, either excessive posting or sudden silence. Giving away possessions or making final arrangements, talking about being a burden or having no reason to live, increased substance use or risky behaviors. Extreme mood swings or sudden calmness after a period of depression, direct statements about wanting to die or not wanting to be here anymore for new mothers specifically. Watch for difficulty bonding with the baby, extreme anxiety or panic attacks, intrusive thoughts about harming themselves or the baby, withdrawal from family and friends. Significant changes in appetite or sleep beyond normal, new parent exhaustion, feelings of inadequacy or worthlessness. As a mother, if you notice these signs in someone you care about, don't ignore them. Don't assume someone else is handling it. Don't convince yourself it's probably nothing. Reach out, ask direct questions, offer concrete help. And if you believe someone is in immediate danger, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or take them to an emergency room. Individual action matters, but systemic change is what will actually prevent the next Zen Sylvester. Here's what communities need to do. ***, demand better mental health resources. ***, contact local and state representatives to advocate for increased funding for mental health services, particularly for low-income mothers. Support organizations that provide free or low-cost mental health care. ***, create practical support networks. ***, organize meal trains, childcare co-ops, and resource sharing for struggling families. Churches, community centers, and neighborhood groups can coordinate these efforts. ***, reduce stigma. ***, talk openly about mental health struggles, particularly postpartum depression and the challenges of single parenthood. The more normal these conversations become, the easier it is for people to ask for help. ***, support policy changes. ***, advocate for paid family leave, affordable childcare, living wages, and expanded access to healthcare. These aren't just political issues, they are life and death issues. ***, check on your people. ***, make it a regular practice to reach out to the mothers in your life. Not just once, but consistently. Show up, be present, offer tangible help. Now we talk about what matters most. The 3 children Zen left behind. Her oldest son is 6 years old now. He remembers his mother, her voice, her laugh, the way she called him her little man. He asks questions that don't have good answers. Where did mommy go? When is she coming back? Did I do something wrong? He's old enough to remember, but too young to understand. That's perhaps the cruelest age, to lose a parent, old enough to know what you've lost, too young to process why it happened. Her middle child, just a year and a half old, still reaches for her when he hears her name. The muscle memory of her arms, the sound of her voice singing lullabies, these things are fading, but not yet gone. Soon, he'll only remember her through photos and the stories others tell. And her youngest, just 3 months old when she died, will never have memories of his own. This child will grow up knowing he had a mother who loved him fiercely, but he won't have her. He'll have to construct an understanding of who she was from fragments shared by family members. These 3 children will grow up with a mother who exists only in the past tense. They'll see her face in pictures and videos, but never feel her physical presence again. They'll celebrate birthdays without her. They'll have first days of school without her. They'll graduate, fall in love, have children of their own, and she won't be there for any of it. That's the real tragedy of suicide. Not just the person lost, but all the future moments stolen, all the memories that will never be made, all the love that still exists but has nowhere to go. Zen's mother is now raising 3 children, ranging from infant to elementary school age, at an age when many grandparents are enjoying retirement and occasional babysitting. She's back in full-time parenting mode: diapers, school drop-offs, doctor appointments, homework help, sleepless nights. But she's doing it with fierce determination. She speaks often about keeping her daughter's spirit alive. Asterisk. They'll know her voice. They'll know their mama was strong even when life wasn't fair. They'll know she loved them more than anything in this world. Asterisk. She's created photo albums for each child, filled with pictures of Zen pregnant with them, holding them as newborns, celebrating their milestones. She's saved Zen's voice memos and videos so the children can hear her laugh, hear her sing. She's kept Zen's favorite pink hoodie so they can smell her scent when they need to feel close to her. She talks to them about their mother every day, making sure Zen's name is spoken out loud, making sure the children understand that it's okay to remember her, to miss her, to talk about her. This is the work of love in the aftermath of tragedy, preserving memory, creating connection across the void of death, helping children understand where they came from even as they move forward without their mother. The GoFundMe campaign raised enough to cover Zen's funeral costs, but that was just the beginning. Raising 3 children requires ongoing resources that a grandmother on a fixed income doesn't automatically have. The average cost of raising a child to age 18 is approximately $250,000. That's just one child. Triple that for Zen's 3 sons, and you're looking at $750,000 over the next 12 to 18 years. This is why community support matters. Why donations to the family fund matter. Why showing up with groceries matters. Why offering to babysit matters. Why paying for school supplies matters. It's not just about immediate survival, it's about giving these children a chance at the life their mother wanted for them. Stability, opportunities, education. The ability to heal from their trauma rather than just surviving it. All 3 children will need grief counseling as they grow and their understanding of loss evolves. A 6-year-old processes death differently than a 16-year-old will. The questions change. The grief resurfaces in new ways at different developmental stages. Childhood grief therapy costs money. It requires transportation to appointments. It requires someone with the time and energy to coordinate it all. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities for children who've experienced traumatic loss. Without proper support, children who lose parents to suicide are at higher risk for depression, anxiety, behavioral problems, and their own suicidal thoughts later in life. With proper support, they can process their grief in healthy ways and build resilient, meaningful lives. That's what's at stake here. Not just whether these 3 boys survive, but whether they thrive. In the end, this story circles back to what really matters. Not how Zen died, but how she lived. She lived loudly. She loved her children with a ferocity that everyone who knew her could see. She fought for them every single day, worked multiple jobs, went without sleep, sacrificed her own needs repeatedly so they could have what they needed. She poured everything she had into those 3 boys. Her time, her energy, her hope, her dreams. Even when she was breaking, she made sure they were whole. She protected them from her pain as long as she could. She showed up for them every single day until she couldn't anymore. That's her legacy, not the depression, not the failed relationships, not the financial struggles. Her legacy is 3 children who were loved absolutely, who were cared for completely, who knew without question that their mother would do anything for them. Her mother still sets aside time at noon every day, the time when Zen used to call. The phone doesn't ring anymore, but she sits with that absence, honoring the daily ritual they shared. She called me every day at 12 p.m., her mother says, voice breaking. Every day just to talk, just to say hi. Now my phone's too quiet. That silence is the hardest part. The absence of those daily check-ins, those moments of connection that seem so ordinary at the time, but now feel precious beyond measure. But even silence has an echo. And in that echo lives everything Zen ever stood for: love, perseverance, and color. The pink and black she chose to represent her. The softness and the strength. The light and the shadow. The complexity of a human being who couldn't be reduced to a single story. If this story moved you, if you believe we need to do better for struggling mothers, if you want to be part of preventing the next tragedy, subscribe to this channel right now. We're building a community that cares about these stories, that takes action, that doesn't just watch and move on. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Be part of the solution. Zen Miela Nucky Sylvester was born on April 24, 2002, and died on September 23, 2025. She lived for 23 years, 6 months, and 29 days. In that time, she became a mother 3 times over, worked countless hours caring for others as a CNA, brought joy to everyone around her, and loved with a purity and intensity that left marks on everyone she touched. Her story is a warning flare sent up for all of us, a reminder that we need to do better. We need better mental health resources for new mothers. We need better support systems for single parents. We need to check on the strong ones, ask the second question, offer help without waiting to be asked. We need to stop glorifying exhaustion and start recognizing it as the warning sign it is. We need to remember that behind every social media smile might be someone drowning. Behind every "I'm fine" might be someone screaming silently. Behind every strong woman might be someone barely holding on. If Zen's story resonates with you, if you see yourself in her struggles, please know that help is available. *** National Maternal Mental Health Hotline is available 24/7. Free and confidential support for pregnant and postpartum individuals. These resources exist because stories like Zen's happen too often, because too many mothers are suffering in silence, because the system is broken and we're losing people who should still be here. To single mothers out there, you are not alone. What you're feeling is valid. Asking for help is not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to handle everything alone. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to need support. You are allowed to prioritize your mental health. You are allowed to not be okay. Your children need you alive and present more than they need you to be perfect. Give yourself permission to be human. Give yourself permission to accept help. Give yourself permission to survive instead of just pushing through. To everyone else, check on your people. Ask the hard questions. Offer specific help. Show up consistently. Don't wait until it's too late to tell someone they matter. If you know a struggling mother, don't just say, "Let me know if you need anything." Show up with groceries. Offer to watch the kids for an hour. Send money for a babysitter. Make your help specific and immediate. Be the person who asks the second question. Be the person who doesn't accept "I'm fine" at face value. Be the person who shows up even when it's inconvenient. To Zen's 3 sons, when you're old enough to understand this story, your mother loved you more than words can express. Her struggles were never your fault. Her death was not your failure. She fought to stay as long as she could. Remember her laugh. Remember her strength. Remember her love. Remember that she wanted you to be real men who wear pink without shame, who feel without apology, who love without reservation. You are her legacy. You are proof that she was here, that she mattered, that she loved with everything she had. Carry that forward. Make her proud. Zen wanted to be buried in pink and black. Her family made that happen. At her funeral, mourners wore those colors. Her sons were dressed in pink, just like she asked. The casket was adorned with pink and black flowers. Everything honored her final wish. But the real way we honor Zen is by learning from her story, by doing better for the next mother who's struggling, by building the support systems that might have saved her, by creating a world where asking for help is met with compassion instead of judgment. Rest in pink and black. Nucky. Rest in the colors you loved. Rest knowing your babies are being held by a community that will never let them forget you. Rest knowing your story is helping others find the courage to ask for help. Rest knowing you mattered. You were more than your pain. You were love incarnate. You were strength personified. You were a mother who gave everything until there was nothing left to give. May you finally have the peace you deserved in life but couldn't find. Thanks for watching this story about Zen Nucky Sylvester. This wasn't easy to tell, and I know it wasn't easy to hear. But stories like this need to be told with compassion, with context, with the recognition that these are real people with real families who deserve dignity in death. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We upload new content covering cases that matter, stories that deserve to be heard, stories that might just save a life if the right person hears them at the right time. But more importantly, take action today. Check on someone. Offer help to a struggling mother. Share mental health resources. Donate to maternal wellness organizations. Be the person who asks the second question. See you in the next one. And please, check on your strong friends today.